Hi, my name is Bailey Adams, and at the recording of this video, I'm currently an intern at the PDC Mandurah. This video is supposed to give a basic understanding on how to use this template in the normal course of someone using it without any of the advanced stuff. Now, the purpose of this template was to be able to analyze the costs given by a homelessness encampment, taking in as many variables as was possible. This template itself provides 8 different sheets, the tools to track meetings, services, and financials, which includes employee pay rates, breaking them down into a rough hourly estimate, and then a summary table in that same sheet, which allows you to go correspond meetings and the time it takes to be there with the price of each hour that this employee is in the room. Now, upon opening the file, you may find sometimes that the macros are blocked. This needs to be available as these are running in the background and make up half of the template in itself. If you were to find this to happen and it's a full block, you want to go into the file itself, right click on it, go to properties, and normally at the bottom you find a section that allows you to tick a box to say unblock. You want to tick that box and press apply and come back to the Excel sheet. This will now allow you to enable macros. You will find a pop-up saying it. This is the case on Windows 10. It may differ depending on the OS system you're using. It's not always the same. If you do have trouble, please do Google it, as it's a normal problem to fix. Now, upon opening the file, you'll find on the first page is a guide written out. This is supposed to help explain each sheet, its purpose, and how to use them. It's not very detailed. It's supposed to get straight to the point. The purpose of this video is supposed to take it a little bit further and go a little bit more detail. There will be a follow-up video explaining the more advanced stuff and going into how to open macros and what the macros do themselves. But unless you are wanting to do that and you're very confident in Excel, I recommend just to follow this video for now and don't make any significant changes. Now, in the background we had 3 different programs, but the one in particular that ranges on every sheet and works on them all the same is an auto width macro. Now you can see here that by simply entering in the cell again after it's shown that it's too small for the amount of text there is, it reorganizes and resizes based on the longest text in the column. This is the case on every different sheet, and you'll find it's going to be pretty handful for those where it does extend a lot of text, especially in the meetings sheet. Now, following this, we'll go over to our summary. This is the main page you'll be looking at first. It's also the main page you'll be corresponding to for any reason at all. And it should be the thing to share if you're willing to do so with other corporations, governments, you name it. It's meant to take out the sensitive information that the other sheets will have. Now, all information on this sheet is completely automatic. Please do not try type in your own information here, as even the 0 up here is supposed to take the text or the name of the encampment you've placed in a different sheet. And same with every other one. They've got formulas already inputted. Any text boxes you see that are highlighted around in a black box that's bold are instructions to help you. Now you can delete these once you understand how to work them, as they have no other purpose than simply that. We move on. The Encampment dashboard. Now this is the one where you provide a weekly update or monthly, you can change it, given a state by state of the individuals on site for this week, the number of structures found on the site this week, and the number of people housed this week. Now, what this does is provides a tracking to understand what past history does. It shows you what you did last week, how many compared to this week, and provides a percentage change. For example, if we go input these dates here, we say there's 5 individuals this week, but there was only 3 this week. You'll find that there was a 40% decrease from the individuals from this week compared to last week. This remains true again for the same section here. We did 5, but there was only 3. It's now negative 40, a decrease of 40%. Here, it's a little different. We say we've done 3 people housed, but 2 people this week. All it does is it shows you a summary of how many has been housed to this date. This is limited. It does not show how many have been rehoused. If they leave and come back, it will only add once more to it. Or it doesn't state any specific circumstances either. It's only a guide or an idea of how many has been housed total, and that is it. I do recommend to go into specifics elsewhere if you want to know that specific data. At the end, you place down any key notes you have found during the week that was important, like for instance, we moved on the encampment, we provide services like fire mitigation came in today, stuff like that could be very useful here. The other thing to know is in the top right corner we have 2 boxes here, one being the location of the encampment. Inputting this in will bring over the name over to the summary. That's where we have this. So in this case, let's say it's in Mandurah. Once we've done that, it'll pop up here too to keep things simple and clean. The day of first detection is the moment you realize the encampment has come into creation or when you are aware of it. Again, we'll go with a simple 1st of January 2021. Please excuse me. That's another thing that gets pulled up, which goes here. Now you'll find again that the text box is too small. Go in, click enter, and it resizes itself. Please note that anytime you want to add a new line, if you were to simply type in a number, the whole thing will expand to match it. And that is the case for every table like this in this entire document. You'll find that all you have to do is just type in a little bit of data below and the whole thing will expand with the equations in that automatically. In this sheet here, there's not a lot to say. It's just simply an additional sheet for any information that can't be placed elsewhere that you reckon is important or could be worked with elsewhere. It's just a simple extra notes page. Meetings. This is where things do get a little bit more complicated. Meeting is supposed to state anytime a meeting that has the encampment involved or has some relevance to it gets listed down here. So you can say, again, the Mandurah meeting happened. It happened on the 1st of Feb 2021. Duration or time, you can specify it's the whole meeting itself, or you can specify how much it was given on the agenda specifically towards the encampment. In this case, I'm going to go with 1 hour, which is equivalent to just 1. In this section here, we'll come back to it in a second, but by clicking the arrow key here that pops up when you highlight the cell, provide some information or some names in that, which will correspond to either the pay levels, name of staff, or whatever you've input in the following sheet that allow you to state who is at these meetings. Coming over here, we've got 2 tables. The first is where you state what roles or names were important to this document. Once you've done this, so in this case we got officer, we want to state a roughly estimate of their yearly salary. The more accurate, the better, obviously, but in this case we'll say it's 80,000 per year. Working week hours is equivalent to how many hours they work on a week. Full-time is equivalent between 36 and 40, so we'll say 38 to go in the middle. PTO is paid time off. Standard is about 4 weeks, so we say 4, which then gives us an hour rate of $43.86. This column here is to provide how many follow in the exact same category or data. So say we have 4 officers with the same yearly salary, or roughly. We'll type in 4, and the final column will show us how much it costs for all 4 of these to be together for an hour. And you keep doing this for every role, person you may have. It auto expands. Just please remember to take away this box if you don't need it anymore. Once you've done that, you'll find that coming back to meetings, these now pop up. You're able to input multiple in the same cell at a time, and that's supposed to state how many have been there. So there was 4 officers, you can put down there was 4 officers. It's important that you do it. It's important you do it by this version and not by typing it out manually, because typos or misspellings will break the document. Coming back to financials, we'll look at the second table. Currently it is blank, and that is because it was calculated before without any data in this section or in the meetings section. To create an output, this is a button which activates one of the 3 macros in the background. When we click it, it provides a pop-up telling us that the role summary and cost is updated, which will output here. Now, any role you've placed in the previous meetings document will appear here and auto-expand for every new one there is. It will take the total meeting time, so it will recognize how many have been there and how long they've been doing this, and multiply by their hourly rate, which then gives you a total time. As you can see, because there were only 1, but there was 4 officers in that one meeting for an hour, it's the same as the total. And that is the case for every time. In this case, we'll delete these, we don't need them. Which will allow you to come over here excuse me. Ah, very interesting. Over here provides a summary. This takes the information given from this table and this table to give key factual information you may want to know. In the scenario that this button does not pop up with this and does not output what it should, you can double check by right clicking, going to assign macro, and here you will find there's a few options. Specifically, this should be module 2, refresh role summary. You'll find that still works fine. In the next sheet, we have the services. Here you list out any one-off or few times that something has reoccurred. This can be skip bins, it can be rubbish collection, it can be even fire mitigation team coming in. If you were to want to add something to this, you simply say, in this case we'll go with skip bins as an example. We state the dates it may start in case we have this going for a while. Doesn't do anything more, but it's there for information and it's there to be helpful as a record keeping. So again, here we are. And these 2 columns here are the most essential. Units refer to how many, the quantity in itself. So let's say we hired 3 skip bins in total. We'll type in 3. This is how much it costs per unit. While we might have 3 units, or 3 skip bins, each skip bin in itself individually costed 500. When you've inputted these two in, they get multiplied together to create a total cost of how much it was, which was 1500. These four columns are for any additional costs that came out that are relevant to the service. So let's say travel. In this case, there was traveling to get to the location or additional expenses occurred to do so, which came out to be $40 in fuel. These items get automatically added to the total at the end, which then comes up to the balance at the top, which takes every number down here and makes a total sum. You can, and for some instance, have a savings where it might be a negative. If it is a negative, it will come up as in brackets and it will reduce the balance to show that there was some savings or less. Now you might find there are scenarios where you're sending in teams of people and you can list them here. So we go with a fire mitigation team, state down what they were. You can state that it was one day they were out, so 1/1/21, and again 1/1/21. But in this case, we had 4 team members working for about a total of 8 hours. This means that for the units themselves, we want to do 4 times 8, or we're going by the team times it by the hours each one worked. So 4 times 8 in this case would be 32. So we state that the units were 32 instead. Now, the price per unit would be what the salary hourly rate would be. As we don't have a specific number here, we'll say it was $20 per. And once we do, we'll find out that it costed $640 for the full fire mitigation team to work for an hour. My apologies. It took a total of $640 for a full day's worth of work between 4 people. You can add on as many as you want. And again, it does auto expand if there is something new. This column here is only if you want to state a location or categorize by sector of some kind. It's not necessary, but it's there just in case. In the final sheet, we have the change log. Now, this is important for its own reason. If in the scenario you want to make changes to this template, it's important that you were to go in, state the date you're doing it. In this case, we say this, state who's doing it, and then the action they're doing or what changes they're making. This creates a log of historic changes made to the template in case something does go wrong and you want to track back how to fix it or undo it without having to pull out a brand new template of this. Once you've done all this, you'll find you'll come back to summary that every bit of information here pulls out from the other sheets you've already inputted into. As you can see here, even this has been updated properly to state what's been said. If done right, with no issues at all, you'll find that this number we updated. Now, it will take this number and this number and add them both together, which will give you a final balance or an idea of how much has currently been spent on the encampment. Now, this is a very basic guide, and there's a lot more to explain how a lot of things work. If you wish to do so or understand more, there is a second follow-up video being the advanced guides. I will show you how to not only see the macros, but also set up the developer tab, which is a separate thing up here for Excel, allow you to access all the extra things, and also how to get to the codes that makes this button possible. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, please refer to my contact.